So the Brooklyn Nets have reported yesterday through Rose that they are looking for a third star to pair up with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And what the name was out of all the All-Stars out there, guys? Bradley Beal. Initially, whenever I heard about this news about Bradley Beal being in the mix of possibly next season getting traded and going to the Brooklyn Nets, it pretty much shocked me. You're looking at a team with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant where they're isolation, offensive weapons. They can easily score 30 a game, going back and forth in offense. Focus currently both at them. This is a team to where they just recently fired Kenny Atkinson a couple weeks back. I think probably around 2 months ago before the coronavirus hit. And this is something to where they came in on a team to where there's a bunch of young guys, European players, and they pretty much want to change the whole game up, the whole team structure. And I agree with them. Personally, for me, when Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant did go to the Brooklyn Nets, I was a little shocked and confused. Not really too much confused because between them and the Knicks, it's a much well-run organization. But now when you're looking at within this team, now they have to blow it up. I thought if they went to the Knicks, it's easier to create a team just for themselves because there's not a lot of good players there and they can just do what they want. But now when it comes to being on the Brooklyn Nets, what they need to do for next season is definitely restructure. They need to trade away all the younger players and all the younger cats as well. Guys, we got to remember Kyrie Irving around 3 or 4 months ago, what he said during the time was he only listed 7 players he was interested in keeping on the team, and he didn't even mention a bunch of the younger players. So he wanted to keep a bunch of the veterans with Kevin Durant, of course, and then we saw there after like around a month later that they fired Kenny Atkinson. So this team is definitely on a rebuild mode section. So that's what's going to happen when it comes to this team. Now, you do have Bradley Beal. If he does get acquired from this team, I'm trying to think about the trade pieces. Realistically and logistically, I mean, I don't really know how that would work out. You'd probably have to most likely include a third team to include Spencer Dinwiddie in there, Joe Harris, a bunch of the younger cats to be included on that deal, a bunch of first-round picks. And then with the third team, this is something to where if you're the Wizards, you're trying to rebuild. So you're probably gonna have to ship off John Wall, which they've been trying to do with that enormous contract. He is recovering from that ACL a year long, or probably around a year and a half long injury, to where he'll be back for next season. So if you're the Wizards, you need to blow things up. Get Bradley Beal out there. I feel like if you're going to trade for Bradley Beal, you can get a much better deal than dealing with the Nets. But it does come down, guys, to the third team. And this is something I don't know. We would have to think and kind of go over. I'll probably do a rebuild in one of these videos of how with the Wizards and the Nets back and forth to make both teams out a better way. But whenever you're looking at the Brooklyn Nets for next season, bring in Bradley Beal. This is something to where you have 3 dynamic and explosive scorers, offensive threats. So this is something to where, of course, you're going to have the 1, 2, and 3 spots are going to be filled out. They're going to be able to keep DeAndre Jordan at that 5. I think if they're going to sign a power forward, they would go with the Markieff Morris-esque type, someone who's just needy and greedy, a stretch 4, and someone who doesn't need to score that often at all. And then besides with the bench, I think they need to blow up, trade away all the young players like Jarrett Allen. Personally, for me, I would keep Jarrett Allen, but it feels like with the Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant experiment, they want to get all the young guys out, bring some vets, and go for a championship run in 2021 and exactly 2022, the year after that. So whenever they're trading all those young players, the players they would have probably most likely fill on the bench, you're going to have to look. For example, you can have an Allen Crabbe. You could probably still keep a Spencer Dinwiddie. If not, you're most likely going to have to trade him for the Bradley Beal package. You could possibly bring back a Sean Livingston. I doubt he would come out of retirement. Maybe a DJ Augustine. I think he would be a perfect backup for this team and how it's structured. You're going to need some shooters on this team, gritty guys, 3 and D, and that play hard basketball. I feel like Damari Carroll would be a perfect fit for this team. Maybe even a Tyson Chandler on his last. This will probably be his last season. Might as well sign up for a veterans minimum. Tall guys around the 7-footers for the centers. You have DeAndre. You can get a Tyson Chandler. Maybe even bring in an Amir Johnson type or a Kyle Quinn for one of your third centers who doesn't really play that often. Looking at the small forward slot, I think a Kent Bazemore would be a very good fit for this team. I don't know if you can probably sign him for the minimum of $5 million. That's something he'll probably take within this day and age because his value has decreased. So again, guys, I like Allen Crabbe at the shooting guard position. You're going to need some more shooters out there just to play as role players, because whenever it comes to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, you can be able to switch up the rotations to where you can have Bradley Beal play a little bit in the first quarter, then in the second quarter bring him with a second unit to focus all the offense surrounding around him. So guys, I have no issue whatsoever with this team on their offensive set. This is something to where if this deal does go down, you're looking at least Eastern Conference Finals against either the Milwaukee Bucks, possibly this Philadelphia 76ers, maybe even the Boston Celtics. But besides that, they will be able to win a championship in 2021 or 2022 if this deal does go down. Originally, it shocked me. I've always known the Wizards should trade Bradley Beal, but whenever it comes to being on the Brooklyn Nets, that would be huge for the NBA. Not really in a good or bad way. Whenever you're looking at Kevin Durant ready joining a super team, now you have this together. But this will be his team. So, I can't really knock Kevin Durant, the guy, for doing that. But I feel like he can win a championship with just Kyrie Irving and a couple more role players. But nowadays, guys, this is the new flow of the NBA. It has been for the last decade. So I can't blame Kevin Durant whatsoever. Now we just have to look at the head coach. I know they have Jack Vaughn right now, who is the assistant, who is now the intern head coach. I don't know. They've been looking at different names. I've heard about, you have Tyronn Lue. He used to coach Kyrie Irving. You have the guy, what's his name? Tom Thibodeau. He hasn't been in the NBA forever. A defensive-minded coach. That's possibly. Within how I see things, how Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are, they want a coach to pretty much where they can just run their own offense, do their own thing. Doesn't have to be really X's and O's. I disagree with them, but if that's the case, go with Tyronn Lue, someone who's more nonchalant and chillax. Because with all those offensive threats and stars, this is something they can, guys, just run their own ISO system, which Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant pretty much run, as well as Bradley Beal. So might as well just go with the flow within that, guys. But if this deal does go down, I definitely see a finals appearance and a championship, either 2021, 2022. Guys, let me know down below how you feel about this possible trade that can happen and probably what the trade pieces would be. It would be something I'll be pretty excited to see in the NBA, I'm not going to lie, because you still have the Los Angeles Lakers and the Clippers and possibly the Milwaukee Bucks if they're still going to keep it from this year from next. I know a bunch of people hate on Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant. Adding this, the Brooklyn Nets are probably going to be one of the most hated teams, but also a fun team to watch. So I'm excited to see if this goes down or not, but just wanted to give my thoughts if that were to happen.